Now, guys, can you guys think of a more perfect sound that really just represents and helps you visualize what summer stands for? The sound of the opening up a nice cold refreshment, sitting out there, being out there in the sun. Now, my intro touched on this a little bit, but kind of what I've noticed is that there really are those two types of people who live in Arizona. Now, who here actually loves to be in the Valley of the Sun during the summer? Ooh. So see, there are some of us who like it, but there are also those of us who hate it, right? And people like Paul probably have the same types of excuses for why they really hate the Valley. They say things like, oh, I mean, if you look down the street, you can see the heat rising off the black asphalt, and you see it rising, and it's just baking out here. Why would people live here? Or even the classic, hey, it's so hot out here that you can fry an egg on the roof of your car. Why would you even live here? Why would you live in a place like that? Or my coworker the other week, I actually saw people baking cookies in his dashboard. It's like, why? Why people think, why would you live somewhere where you can physically bake cookies and then have cookies ready for when you're off at work? Why would you live somewhere like that? Well, what I'll tell you is that when you live in a place like this, like Phoenix, where you have summers from basically February to November, you have great weather year round. Great weather where you're allowed to use your patio furniture, you're allowed to open some of these, and you're allowed to just relax by the pool and do some good summer fun. Now, one of my favorite things to do in the summer, it's actually to go to the Salt River. Now, I love every stage of the Salt River, beginning with the first stage, which is the most important, packing that cooler. Now, if you think about that cooler, you're gonna plop it down on the table and you're gonna stack your beers or your refreshments or your margaritas or whatever you're gonna have, and you're perfectly arranging it, making sure that it's easily accessible for what is going to be that little cooler floating around on the river, and making sure you don't lose your load. Now, kind of corner to that, you're going to have your fruit that's sliced and diced. You're going to have your sandwiches and any other little snacks you're going to want. Prepping that to that, you're going to survive out there in that 4-hour gruesome heat that lives. Pack your cool in the car, drive there. My next favorite scene is actually, who here has been Salt River tubing? So you guys know that scene where you step out of that car and people are just lathering all of that lotion all over their body, and they're spraying each other with the aerosol cans everywhere and trying to get every little inch, and they still come back beet red? It just never works because 1 or 2 drinks in, you really just forget to apply it, or you buy the non-resistant waterproof sun lotion and you still get that beet red feeling all over your body. I don't know, I love that scene in particular because to me, what it shows you is people just ready to have a good time. They don't have any worries, no cell phones, nothing on their minds. They're just gonna float on a river for 4 hours with their friends with this cooler and have a great time. Now on the river, it's pretty boring. I mean, if I told you about that, I'm really just drinking or eating a snack. But one of my favorite things to do is, for those of us who've been there, when I talk about throwing marshmallows on the river, do you guys know exactly what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Now, for those of you who don't know, what throwing marshmallows on the river is, it's when you get a bag of marshmallows. It's the same marshmallows they use for s'mores, but you kind of bring one with you. You get some marshmallows when you're floating, and you kind of put them in the tube right beside you. Let them kind of soak in that water, that nice Salt River water. You let them get up and bulge up a little bit. They grow a little bit because I guess the water's kind of soaking in there. But after about 5 minutes or so of soaking, they actually get this thin layer of that's like a Salt River slime that kind of envelops it, and you can actually get it and just toss it at people. But the thing is, when people get hit by them, they don't get mad at you. They laugh and they try to pick it up and throw it back, and try to leave you with that sticky residue that it leaves you with. To me, I just love that feeling. Everyone's just having a good time. They're enjoying it. No one's caring at all. Now, in a very similar fashion, I think where people really get to let loose like that is when you have pool parties, when you're barbecuing and you're by the pool. Now, I know Daniel does this a lot. He's always by the pool, and kind of reminds you of what I love to do in pool parties. And I love to be the grill master. I love to be that grill dad that just kind of sits there, pops open the grill, and he's the one that's prepping the meat the night before and perfectly stacking it there. And deciding if we're gonna grill veggies or maybe we're gonna put some kebabs together so that we can put those out there. And in the morning when you're ready to go grill, you grab that meat tray and you walk down to the pool with your friends and you open up that grill, turn on that gas, fire it up and see the flames kind of go through the rack so you can eat it. Love that. I love putting the meat on there, watching it sizzle, watching the grease kind of drip out of it, the flames engulf the meat. I love every aspect of grilling there because, if you really think about it, you're the food master. Everyone's gonna have to play nice with you. People are out offering you beers because you're grilling, just because they want that first bite, they want that first hot dog because they're hungry, and just everything about that mood, that feeling is just so good to me. Now, what's another common factor at those pool parties is that people are carrying a lot of these babies, and it could be Coke, could be margaritas, it could be a beer-rita, it could be a beer, but at the end of the day, people are just having a good time, and it's just one of the many great things about being in this Arizona heat. Now, what other place in the United States could you be there? Besides like Florida or California, but what other place in the United States could you be out by the pool in February, enjoying some cool beers, barbecuing, and not suffering because you're in a freezing blizzard? That's it. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster.